So for the second year in a row, I think I'm giving the only non-technical talk at AtlasCamp, and also I'm still the youngest speaker. And so you don't have to worry about dealing with any code in the last talk instead. And also, I know that you're probably looking at me and thinking that I just look like the last person that's keeping you from going and drinking beer, and I want you to rest assured that I'm also looking at myself and thinking you're keeping all these people from drinking beer, so I'll try to get through this as fast as possible. So yeah, no code. We're just going to talk about pants. Who's heard of this company before? All right, like 3 hands. That doesn't surprise me. You don't really seem like the kind of market for bright pink pants. But this is a company called Bonobos. I think it's Bonobos. They make pants. They're based in New York City. They're mostly selling pants online. I think they have stores, but you still have to try the pants on and then go order them online. And I love their pants. Ever since I bought my first pair of pants from Bonobos, I don't think I've bought pants from anywhere else. But the question is not, why do I like Bonobos pants so much? It's, why am I a Bonobos customer? And the answer is, like, what did they do to hook me? And the answer is, first, they have great marketing. Since they launched about 7 years ago, they focused on one thing, which is fit. They have a consistent message, which is their pants fit better, everybody else's pants don't fit, and their pants fit guys. And even 7 years later, they still focus all of their marketing around this idea of fit. Second, they really have the e-commerce experience dialed. They deliver a great customer experience. The site is beautiful. It's well organized. It's really easy to use. They basically they make it really, really easy for you to buy their pants. And finally, they do the things right that make me want to keep coming back and make me keep buying pants from them. The one time I had to do a return, they made it super easy. The shipping, it's fast, it's free. But the conclusion that I want you to draw here is not that you should all go buy Bonobos pants, but rather that we should all try to be like Bonobos when we're running our businesses. So in terms of engaging our customers, we should try to follow their example. But Bonobos kind of has it easy. Their customer is pretty simple. Their customer is guys who want pants. And for most of us, it's a little more complicated. Our add-ons all serve different needs, different use cases, and at each stage in our customer funnel, we need to make assumptions about the people that are in it. So we need to ask, what is the problem that they're trying to solve, and why are they looking at my add-on to try and solve it? What's going through their head as they're looking at my marketplace profile or my website? What do they need to see in order to try out my add-on? Why did they decide to try it? If they do try it, why did they decide to buy it? And if they are my customer, then why did they decide to renew it? And knowing the answers to these questions is really critical to making sure that you continue to grow your business. And there's one word that I just said which is really key here, which is assumptions. So we can't know everything about every one of our customers, but we can make assumptions about them. And if you can make an assumption about something, then you can make a hypothesis about something. And if you can make a hypothesis about something, then you can run a test. So in this session, I'm basically going to try to get you thinking about all the different places where you can optimize your customer funnel. And so discovery, that would be your marketing, your conversion, so trying to take somebody who's seen your marketing material and convert and get them evaluating, and then take somebody who's an evaluator and make them into a customer, and then finally retention, getting your customers to renew month after month, year after year. And so I'm going to use a mixture of examples of things we've learned and tried at Atlassian and just try to share some general good practices. And my goal isn't to get you all running out of the room to go set up A/B tests, but rather to just kind of get you thinking about where you could start testing, trying to make improvements and identify the lowest hanging fruit that's ripe for improvement. So let's start at the top. So at the top of the funnel, you're basically asking yourself 3 questions. When my visitors come to my page, where are they coming from? What do they see when they're on my page? And where are they going next? And for many of you who are selling add-ons through the marketplace, we've simplified at least one of those questions. You have a marketplace profile, with a big green button that says, try it free. And that's your call to action. So you don't need to worry about the, if you can get somebody there, then all you're worrying about is getting them to click that button and start a trial. But I know that there's an unlimited amount of additional sales and marketing effort that you all are investing in at different levels, whether you're doing emails or the content marketing, your additional websites, your documentation, FAQs, sales preparation, whatever it is. So, and one of the ways you could be getting traffic onto your page is through paid search advertising. I won't do, you've probably had enough audience participation today, so I'm just going to assume that everybody's probably paying or considering paying for AdWords. And hopefully if you are, you're testing this. You can see that here that I went onto a browser and searched for issue tracking and hit refresh 3 times, and I came up with 3 different ads from Atlassian for issue tracking. So you shouldn't just be bidding on one keyword. You should try to identify several different keywords or key phrases that might get better customer responses. Because once you because if you're constantly learning about the kind of phrases and terminology that people are searching for, you can take those and apply them to your marketing material, which in turn will hopefully boost your organic search rankings as well. Then when a visitor hits your site, what do they see? So we recently began a test on the homepage for the product page for the Jira Service Desk. So visitors are split between the original page on the left and this redesigned, completely rebuilt, super sexy page on the right. And this is an example of a pretty high investment test. And you're probably looking at this and thinking, well, I don't have a whole team of web developers and designers who can help build out a page like this. But the thing is, you don't have to. When you look at this, what you really need to be seeing is that it's an aggregation of dozens of tests and dozens of interviews and all different kinds of questions, different kinds of hypotheses that we've tested individually, and then we've just aggregated them together to come up with a really, really big change. But the key in optimization and the key in especially website testing is to identify the minimum amount of work required to either validate or invalidate your hypothesis, and then get your result, make the decision, and move on to the next thing. So that eventually you can get to enough data and enough information where you can end up investing in a big change like this and actually making it worth the investment. Let me take you through a couple more examples. This is the current Jira overview page. Visitors come here from all kinds of sources, including paid search advertising. One of the search phrases that we pay for, or we advertise on, is bug tracking. And so we hypothesize that maybe Jira does a lot of different things. It's a really complex, big product. This page just scratches at the surface. And people who are looking for bug tracking might really just be interested in a bug tracker. So we built a much smaller landing page that just focuses on the bug tracking aspects of Jira. And it was a lot smaller than our full product tours, but it dialed in on that bug tracking keyword. And it was 48% more likely to get, if somebody who clicked on the bug tracking ad and then landed on this page instead of the regular Jira page, was 48% more likely to start a Jira trial. But you might still look at that last page and think that that's a decent amount of work. You still had to create a new web page. But there's opportunities for optimization everywhere. So this was the redesigned marketplace homepage that we launched at Summit last year. And you might have noticed that at Atlassian we really like simplistic design, a lot of open space, lots of white space, perhaps too much white space. At least that's what Nick Wade thought. So he decided to test it and created, did you see that here? We decided we had too much white space. And so we added just a little bit more density, about 7 pixels worth, and just to move the add-on slightly higher up on the page, the button slightly higher up on the page. And it actually led to 7% more clicks on the those add-ons that are on this homepage, and 10% more clicks on the big banners lower down on the page. So we actually did see a pretty significant improvement just by moving a few pixels around. And since you might not have lots of different touch points or a ton of traffic, it's you might be wondering if that's really applicable to your business. And the thing is, these small optimizations, they really just scratch the surface of where you can target your improvements. There are a few areas of the funnel that they don't have as obvious it's not as easy to attach a number, but you should definitely still be thinking about where you can improve and where you can follow some best practices. Number one is search. Search via Google is the number one way that people enter the marketplace. And so about 70% of visitors enter the marketplace from Google search, and the remainder, if they're landing on the homepage, the main thing they do when they land on the homepage is also search. So whether it's Google search or the search in the marketplace, the number one thing you should be focusing on is making sure that you do whatever you can to tighten up the likelihood that somebody searching for something relevant to your add-on is going to land on your add-on. And the key to doing that is to focus on the keywords and text in your marketplace listing. There are two main things you need to keep in mind. And the number one thing that people typically miss is what are people actually searching for when they land on your page? Because it might not be the same as what you think your product is all about. So you need to put yourself in the mind of your customer and think about what a customer might think about and end up searching for to land in your and to land on your product and plan accordingly. And then once you've identified those terms, you need to dial in on them. So make sure they appear frequently and consistently throughout your profile. And the best marketplace profiles have great professional-looking copy. Remember that this is your add-on's main opportunity to convert somebody from a visitor into an evaluator. So your marketplace profile should not look like you were just trying to fill out the form as fast as possible. You should really invest in clear professional copy because you really want to make a great first impression. And right along with that, screenshots and video that you can be proud of. It's hard. These things take time. They take investment. But the number one thing that people look for once they get past the number of downloads you have and the ratings and the reviews is your screenshots. They're looking for a visual before they're even going to read the first word about your add-on. So make those visuals count as much as you possibly can. It's hard to measure visuals and say one visual is better than the other, but you really, really think hard about what your screenshots are showing and if they're really showing off the best things about your add-on. So I want to take you through one bad example from the marketplace and one good example. And since I didn't want to pick on anybody that's actually in the room, I thought I'd pick on Atlassian. So this is the marketplace listing for the Confluence Roadmap plugin, and it sucks. So let's see. Let's look at that tagline. Simple roadmap tool for Confluence literally tells me nothing that I couldn't have gotten from the name of the add-on. Supports multiple languages is pretty cool, but probably not the primary number. If I had to pick the number one feature of this add-on, I probably would not go with multi-language support. And finally, I don't know what's going on with the text here. We're talking about ellipses, and we've got like two really short sentences, and then we're going into bullet points. It's pretty bad. On the other hand, I wanted to call out a really good one from Martin. I don't know if you want to raise your hand if you're in the room. This Roadmaps for Jira add-on has a great listing. So you've got a really succinct, cool tagline that really quickly describes what the add-on is all about. You've got keyword consistency. So the first word on the tagline is planning. The first word in the features is plan. And it ties in very well with what the plugin actually does. And finally, you can tell that you're really getting a quality visual understanding of what the add-on does from those screenshots. So in summary, just to wrap up, there are three main questions you're asking yourself for the top of the funnel. How are visitors reaching my page? What helps them convert? And where are they going to go next? Which brings me to conversions, or winning your customers. So let's imagine somebody searches for your add-on and finds out about your product. They think it looks all right, and they decide to start a trial. So how do you make them into a customer? And probably the best way to do that is to talk to every single one of your customers. That's hypothetically the best way to get conversions. You can learn exactly how they found out about your product, exactly what they want to do, and then you can respond to them by telling them exactly the best way to that your product can fit their needs. And so if you can't get somebody to convert doing that, then I don't know where to start with. you have deeper problems. And some of you are actually in a position to do this. If you have a small enough stream of evaluators, you probably can, if not talk to all your evaluators, at least a decent number of them. And when I talk to customers, one of their biggest inhibitions about purchasing add-ons is that they don't know if they can trust they don't know if they can trust the developer. And so that personal contact is a nice step towards confirming your reliability, and the customer is more likely to feel assured that they're buying a well-supported product. So they're basically, and if you are talking to a customer, there are basically 3 questions you want to ask. What are you trying to accomplish? You want to take a step back and think about the larger problem so that you can know if your add-on is solving it. Sharif is going to talk about this in great detail tomorrow, so make sure you're in the room for that talk. How did you find out about my product? You want to validate all those assumptions that you're making from section 1. And finally, how does my product help you? What are you, that's the feedback on the product itself, which will hopefully allow you to keep retaining your customers. But in all honesty, you're probably not going to be able to talk to every single customer. So you're going to have to make some assumptions about your customers or your evaluators. And then you want to take those assumptions and learnings that you have and scale them across as many of your evaluators as possible. So if you're looking to maximize your return on investment for sales and marketing, it costs far less to it costs far less to convert somebody from an evaluator to a customer than it does to get somebody onto your page in the first place. So if someone's trialing your product, you should take every action you can to make sure they end up purchasing. So there's a bunch of different ways to engage with evaluators. One's emails. So at Atlassian, we send emails to new evaluators, giving them some tips on using, a whole stream of emails, giving them tips on using the product, different aspects and how to use them, where to go to get help, that sort of thing. It's a great way to get the kind of engagement train rolling. We also invest in resources like quickstart.atlassian.com, our ninja guides, all different kind of ways to make sure users are trained in the product and understand how to use it, which makes them more likely to use it, which makes them more likely to buy it. And finally, there's an opportunity. One of the easiest places to slip is in the product itself and making sure that a user has an easy time getting started. So, which brings me to this pretty painful, this experience sucks, and it sucks frequently, and it sucks for Atlassian as much as it sucks for some of the plugins that come from you guys. So someone installs a trial of your add-on, you get this little installed and ready to go dialog, and then you have no idea what to do after that. You have to go look up the plugin, go to their website, find their documentation, just to, scroll through the entire Jira Confluence administration interface to find the configure screen for that add-on and try to figure out how to actually get started using the damn thing. And everyone here can probably do this a little bit better. With Jira Service Desk, we had a problem. People were starting new evaluations of Jira Service Desk, and then they would install it, they would land on the Jira dashboard and they'd be confused. They'd be like, I thought I was, creating using a Service Desk product, and now I'm just looking at a blank Jira. So for new instances that had Jira Service Desk installed, we created this intro dialog that prompted someone who had Service Desk installed and was just looking at the Jira dashboard to go create a Service Desk, which is the main thing you do in Jira Service Desk. And the result was a 50% increase. People who saw this dialogue were 50% more likely to actually create a Service Desk. More usage of Service Desk led to more engagement with the product and ultimately more conversions. The Team Calendars team has done a really good job of nailing this getting started experience. Sharif will go into more detail in his talk tomorrow, but basically they're taking advantage of the post-install hook from the plugin manager, which is just one line of XML in your descriptor, in your Atlassian plugin.xml plugin. And then when you hit that Get Started button, They give you a really nice, well-designed dialogue with a clear call to action. When you click that Go button, you're dropped right into the Team Calendars interface and prompted to do the very first thing to start using the product. It's clean. There's no opportunity to get distracted and go do something else. You go straight from installation to using Team Calendars, which is the biggest, that's when you're most at risk for losing somebody who might never come back. So you might be thinking Atlassian is big, they have lots of developers and designers who can work on all that kind of stuff and optimize these experience. I don't have this kind of time. But I think you're just being unfair to yourself. Admittedly, everyone is not going to be able to develop the infrastructure to build all this stuff, and especially not to test it. But the real message is a lot simpler. We run tests, and we're doing our best to think about how we can improve these evaluator experiences in our product to drive up our conversion rate. And I think everyone here can identify something in their product that will help them do the same thing. And I believe that a great getting started experience especially is within the capability of any developer here. And to prove it, I wanted to pick out one of my favorites, which is the Introduction to Canvas for Jira by Kamalatek. Here's what I love about this page. First, it's inside of the product. You don't have to leave Jira to go consult the documentation. It's simple. You get a quick description of what the add-on does and how to use it, and then there's a clear way to get started and actually start using the product. And if you want to learn more, you can go watch a video, but you don't have to. And so it's basically, to use designer speak, it's gradually revealing its complexity. And finally, there's this awesome Got Feedback button, which means they're collecting feedback and learning from each one of these experiences. So it's easier to convert somebody who's an evaluator into a customer than to get a visitor to become an evaluator, but it's even easier to just hold on to the customers that you eventually have. So how can you improve your renewal rate? Before I get into thoughts on how you can improve your renewal rate, I just wanted to share some statistics on benchmarking your renewal rate. So these are the renewal rates for all add-ons and all paid add-ons in the marketplace over the last 4 quarters. So you can see that the marketplace's average renewal rate hovers around 60%. And those numbers on the right, I promise, will come up and hopefully improve. We're still waiting for people whose license were expiring in March to convert or to renew. But the real question is not, what are the rates, but how can you do better than the average? And it starts with having a great product. So I hopefully you listen to everybody else that talked before me and will talk after me about creating a great product, and I'll try to cover everything else. So the number one thing you can do, great support. Your support responsiveness is the best way to keep customers, and not having good support is the number one reason that customers tend to leave. At Atlassian, we actually refer to our support team as the Customers for Life team because they have one goal, which is to keep our customers for life. And to set standards for great support, we instituted the Atlassian Verified program earlier this year. It's our way to certify which developers create a great support experience for your add-ons. And the proof is in the pudding. Add-ons from vendors that are Atlassian verified were 12% more likely to renew in the most recent quarter. Number 2, stay up to date. Another component of Atlassian verified is maintaining compatibility, and also is maintaining compatibility. Every customer's worst fear is that they're going to want to update to the newer version of Jira Confluence, and there's not going to be a compatible version of the add-on waiting for them. And so if you're serious about keeping your customers, you need to stay up to date with the latest versions. But if you want to expand your market and keep your old customers as well, you need to make sure that you're covering as wide a base as possible. So as JML introduced earlier today, we've introduced a new feature in the marketplace this week, add-on distribution charts, which allow you to see exactly which versions of your add-on are installed across your entire installation base, and then And then also the Atlassian applications that your add-on is running on. So you can see that this add-on has about 2/3 is running on Jira 6.0, 6.1, 6.2, and another 1/3 is running on a Jira 5.x version. So this is available for every single P2 add-on on the marketplace right now. And beyond support and compatibility, the next most important thing you can do is really just engage your customers. Atlassian helps out with that initial engagement by automatically sending out renewal reminders and encouraging customers to renew their add-on as part of your overall marketplace bill. But there's always opportunities to improve on that. It's really important to identify your key customers and continue to get feedback from them and listen to their concerns. Occasionally, the administrator who installed your add-on is not necessarily these people who are actually using it every single day. So make an effort to identify those end users and actually collect feedback from them. The renewal rate for add-ons that are sold by experts is 78%, which is 18 percentage points higher than the average add-on renewal rate. You can give yourselves a round of applause for the experts if you want. But the experts do a great job of selling add-ons and making sure those licenses get renewed every year. And for the sales that the experts do, I'm speaking to all of you as add-on developers, even though I know many of you are also experts. The sales, you're more likely to be renewed. It's a self-reinforcing cycle because the add-ons that experts tend to sell at high volume are also the ones that are more likely to be renewed because they're high quality and they're well supported and they're enterprise ready. So when it comes to building your add-ons, basically you should be asking yourself, would an expert be willing to sell my add-on to one of their customers with 500 or 5,000 users? Do I feel comfortable with the idea that 5,000 people could be depending on my plugin every day? And would an expert be willing to take that risk and sell my add-on to one of their clients and support it and help them out? And and then after that, does the expert have the materials necessary in order to sell it? So make sure you take the opportunity over the next tonight and tomorrow to interact with everybody else that you possibly can to get feedback on your products and hopefully establish those new relationships. That's one of the reasons we put on AtlasCamp every year, and I know it's one of the reasons that you all come back every year. And finally, make sure that you have the materials to renew it. And if you can't do all of that, then at least try to learn. So if you lose a customer, you should at least be trying to find out why you lost that customer. What's missing in your product? Why was it difficult to use? It might be difficult, but if you can, try to contact those customers that didn't renew your product. At Atlassian, we have a page on one of our Confluence instances called the Lost Renewals Megaphone, and our renewals team fills in the reason why a customer didn't renew, and it gets reported into this Confluence page that our product marketing teams and product management teams can go read through and look at all the customers that we did lose, and yes, Atlassian loses customers. Hopefully this isn't a shock, and try to get some feedback on what we can improve. So that's it for me. Wow, I didn't even get a thank you slide. But again, thank you all so much for getting through a full day of, I know that this was a long day of talks, but I really appreciate everyone coming out. The party tonight is at 7 p.m. at Potsdamer Platz. Wherever the party is, there's a map out front in the lobby that you can take a picture of. I'm sure you can go out to the lobby around 6:30, and it'll be pretty easy to identify the streams of people walking that way. And thank you once again for coming to AtlasCamp.